Hey guys, DJ here at Top Tick Cards and Games with a thanks for this Gem Knight, bro. With a Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for Nekroz for the November 2015 format. This deck kind of got dumpstered, but it's still sweet and Trish is still a broken card, so I thought I'd make it anyway. My first reaction when I put this together, and you'll see as we go through it, is that Clownblade would just be a better deck because it just plays a ton of the Clownblade stuff. But Clownblade sucks, and I'm adamant that this is just better, so yeah, we'll just get into the list. First we have 3 Valk. Valk's insane. This card works really well with all the clowns and all these other awful level 4 monsters that you have to play in this deck because you just tribute them to summon them instead of having to waste normal summons on them and stuff, so that's broken. We have 2 Clausolas to search ritual spells. I kind of wanted 3, but just wasn't really space for a third one, and it gets kind of cloggy when you have too many ritual things in here. And we have 1 Unicore, 1 Brionac, and 1 Trishula. Unicore is actually really, really good in this deck. It does the same thing that all, like I said, these awful rank 4 monsters that we just want to special, like Jigabyte and stuff do, except we get to search another ritual spell with it, or ritual monster, and it turns off their extra deck guys. And Trishula is still just an outstandingly broken card, and I promise people aren't building decks so that they don't get trished anymore, and you will just get to trish them for free regularly. And that is a way to win games for free. Then we have some Ritual Searchers, 3 Senjus, and 3 Manjus. Not a whole lot to say about those. You could play less than 6, but I don't know. So far, so good. Then we have 3 copies of Jigabyte. He doesn't have anything in here to search. I'm not playing any of the Nefarious Archfiend Bro because, as I've said about these level 4 monsters, most of them aren't actually any good. This one gets searched by King Feral Imps, though, and lets you OTK the crap out of people. So he was worth playing. He kind of makes a lot of plays happen. Then we have 3 Trick Clown, 3 Damage Juggler, and 1 Hat Tricker. The reasoning for this, I would actually normally want to play 2 Hat Trickers and 2 Trick Clowns, but being able to Ritual Summon and dump both these guys for a Valk is such insanely high value that I needed to max on both them, and the 1 Hat Tricker is enough to make play still. Then we have 1 copy of Thousand Blades. Thousand Blades is in an awkward spot where he's just so bad to draw like 80% of the time if you don't have a way to just put him in your graveyard for free. But you play him anyway because sometimes you'll be able to get the extra normal summon with the Gem Knight cards that are in here that I haven't gotten to yet. Or you'll have like the Foolish, or you'll get to summon him off Valkyrus, so you'll get to put him in your graveyard without having to waste your 1 normal summon on him, and then he's really good. So I don't want to play a second copy of him because he's really bricky, and I would like to actually have some Assault Halberds in here to search for them, but I could not fit that in, so I just have this 1 copy of Thousand Blades right now, and when you draw it, it's okay sometimes it's insane. But with just 1 copy of it and the way this deck's built, it's not really bricking your hand up too badly. And we have 2 Garnets to go with the Brilliant Fusions. That is totally off-center. Whatever. And then we have 3 Brilliant Fusions. Brilliant Fusion is really good. If you guys aren't familiar with what Brilliant Fusion does, it lets us dump a light monster and a Garnet to summon Seraphinite. I don't even know what the other Gem Knight cards do, but Seraphinite is just disgusting. It gives us an extra normal summon. And this is just a free way to get clowns and have 2 normals, so we're not bricked up with a pile of Senjus and Manjus and clowns and stuff in our hand. Then we have 2 Instant Fusions to, summon Norden and win the game for free. 2 Cycle, 2 Mirror, and a Kaleidoscope. The mirror ratio can change around a lot, and 6 might actually be correct. It's not far-fetched to say that we should be playing like an extra Clausolas and then a Gungnir too, and then an extra ritual spell. As of right now, I'm playing 5 because I want to have the least amount of bricks possible since the Clownblade engine itself is outlandishly bricky. So we kind of minimized on ritual spells, went down to 5 of them. I've switched between the 2 of these a couple times. I don't know which one's better. Normally this guy's only used to summon Trish, really. But you need a ritual spell to use for your first one, so I don't know. Cycle is actually just like the backbone of this deck, though. If you have to Valk early, you can just Valk or get Valk back from your bin by pitching 2 of your garbage rank 4s or level 4 monsters, and that is just absolutely insane. And then we have our power spells. We have Preparation of Rites, Foolish Burial, and Reinforcement of the Army. These cards are all just super good in here. Foolish actually just does everything, whether it's putting a clown in your grave, putting Thousand Blades in your grave, putting something in your grave to use for Mirror. It just does everything you could ask for. Rhoda, it's a copy of Thousand Blades and a copy of Clausolas, and Preparation of Rites is just as good as it was before. Unfortunately, a lot of the time now, you don't get back a ritual spell with it. It just acts as an extra copy of Brionac, but honestly, that's all you really need it to be. So the reason to play this deck over a normal Clownblade is that the trap cards that you play in Clownblade aren't actually very good right now. Like, trap cards against decks like Magispectors and Cosmo are okay, but you can't really beat them by playing like a fair, grindy game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And instead of playing all those cards and all these junky, bricky level 4 monsters like Nefarious Archfiend, Jurighettos, Zephyroses, we can instead just go way over the top of our opponents and just summon Valks that can give us a bunch of cards for free, or summon Trish and remove all their cards. And that actually just seems much, much better and much, much more in line with how you actually want to try to play Yu-Gi-Oh! You want to be doing better things than your opponent instead of just hoping that they can't do things. We'll get into the extra deck now. I have 2 copies of Castel. I'm poor and only have 1 cool one, but we'll make do. 2 of these guys are important right now because of Magispector and Cosmo. You want to shuffle away Cosmotown, you want to shuffle away the spells from Magispector, and it's also not too bad against Infernoids to shuffle away their threats instead of putting them back in their bin. Then I have a copy of Diamond Crab. I'm using this guy instead of Gagaga Samurai, I think is the one that does a bunch of damage. I think that's the one. They both make 8,000 plays. The Samurai does a little bit more damage, but the math works out with Diamond Crab just fine, so I'd rather have the rank 4 that can just run over something big. Then we have 1 copy of Ouroboros, because I like the idea of trishing my opponent twice in 1 turn. Then we have 1 Masquerade to kill our opponents through all their clowns, since those cards are going to be really popular. We have Dweller, Cowboy, Diamond Dire Wolf, Digusto Emerald, and King of Fairlimps. Then we have 1 Herald of Arclight, 1 Star Eater, and 1 Armital to use for our Kaleidoscope. Then we have 1 copy of Nodin and 1 copy of Seraphinite. It's super, super low, obviously, since we play 3 copies of Brilliant Fusion and 2 copies of Instant Fusion to only have 1 target for each. But you kind of just blow your whole hand in here and then just see what happens. You kind of just kill your opponent once you start making plays, or if you don't kill them, you play like very, very constrained anyway. A second Nodin probably would be pretty good. I think 1 Seraphinite is probably actually correct, though, because your second Brilliant Fusion is fairly likely to not resolve anyway, since you could have drawn a Garnet very easily. And after the first one, you're not going to actually have anything to use with that extra normal summon anyway, so it's just going to Foolish Burial a Clown and put a 0/0 into play. So I think 1 Seraphinite is actually pretty doable. Second Nodin is probably correct, but I don't know how to make space in the extra for it. The extra is very tentative. I kind of have just changed this a bunch. There were like 30 cards sitting on the table when I tried to build this the first time, and I just kept cutting them until things seemed okay. So there's that. Yeah, just the main board is kind of almost set in stone at this point. I guess not set in stone, that's not the word I'm looking for, but like most of these cards are actually pretty solid in here. I wouldn't expect to make a ton of big changes. The thing people actually really, really underestimate is how easy it is to summon Trish anyway without Shuret. Everyone is just convinced this deck's not good anymore, and I mean, it's not the best deck, obviously. It's much, much weaker than it was before, but summoning Trishula is still really good, and just the fact that your opponents aren't actively trying to stop you from doing it as much anymore makes it very easy to resolve it, and it's still just as broken as it was before, so there you go. Anyways, thanks a ton for watching, guys. I hope you liked the video. I'll try to do some gameplay with this one soon because I actually just love this deck. I love Nekroz, and I'll be the guy who doesn't let this one die for a long time, probably. Other than that, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, check us out on Facebook if you're from the area. We have Yu-Gi-Oh! Events every week, and thanks for watching.